Vange, make Catacombs Meta Simplified Guide. Vange, where is the Silph Arena content? We don't want to see your poopy GBL sets, your absolute garbage. Give us actual content. Where are the guides? What's up everybody, it is I, Hero Vange, and welcome to the heavily requested Catacombs Meta Simplified Guide. I'm finally doing it. I'm finally uploading Silph Arena content again, and this is just going to be one episode, alright? This is not gonna be the usual series that I do for the Silph Arena Cups, because Silph Arena content is dying on YouTube. Not a lot of people watch Silph Arena content. I feel like the opportunity to grow my channel is in Go Battle League. Yes, my channel hasn't been doing well, but I've been having a lot of problems like keeping my upload schedule consistent. I lost my internet. What are you gonna do? But for all the people who want Silph Arena content, for all the people who are very passionate about this, please stay until the end of the video. I have a deal for you. But anyways, in this video, we're gonna figure out the basic structure of the Catacombs meta. We're going to talk about certain Pokemon that I think are going to be important for you to know about, and also how to go about making a team. Alright, so we're gonna start off with this guy right here, Sudowoodo, who is the meta-defining Pokemon for the Catacombs meta. That is actually absolutely insane, and when I recorded the Catacombs meta simplified the first time, this is actually the second time I'm recording this, right? Because the first one I didn't think was that good. Sudowoodo wasn't even number 1 on PVPoke at the time, but when I was running the simulations, when I was doing the research, I was like, this guy's really good. Why isn't he higher up on the list? And yeah, PVPoke changed it. Now he's currently the number 1 Pokemon in the Catacombs meta, and for very good reason. Now I currently can't explain why this stick is so good because the graphic is not complete, but let's start over here with the one safe, all right? That's the term you want to remember. The one safe counter for Sudowoodo, and it's not Venusaur, it's actually like a typing. It's the grass types, okay? So there's a lot of grass types. It's not just Venusaur. There's also Jumpluff. There's also Breloom, I guess, but you know, Breloom's kind of like a different Pokemon. There's also, you know, Razor Leafers like Gloom, okay? The one safe counter to Sudowoodo is a grass type. My bet for the grass types is Venusaur, and that's why he's the one on the graphic, alright? But these two Pokemon are, for me, the most meta-relevant Pokemon for the Catacombs. Now, the reason why Sudowoodo here is the meta-defining Pokemon, and also the problem with the grass type slash Venusaur, is that there are so many counters to the grass types that are actually beat by Sudowoodo. And so this right here is the most basic, most simplified illustration of the Catacombs meta, and it is going to help you understand so much. There's actually more, alright? This isn't it, so chill. So we have Sudowoodo up top, feeling breezy, feeling chill, because the one safe counter that it has, you have so many options to beat it. Very basic. Now, the grass types aren't the only counter for Sudowoodo. There's actually a good number of them, right? But a lot of them, that's the only thing that they do. A good number of them. Others, if you double shield with Sudowoodo, which you're gonna see this a lot in tournaments, I feel. A lot of people are gonna double shield their Sudowoodo against softer counters, because double shielded Sudowoodo can actually flip those matches. Alright? Double shielded Sudowoodo is very dangerous in the Catacombs meta. Hence why I emphasize that the grass types are the safest counter for Sudowoodo. Let's talk about alternates for Sudowoodo. What can you use to replace Sudowoodo, or what kind of generally does, I guess, the same job? We have alternate rock types. We have these two right here, Alolan Graveler and Caracosta. Now let me give you the talking points, alright? The selling points for these Pokemon, starting with the Alolan Graveler. Alolan Graveler can beat Sudowoodo, alright? That is one of the selling points. It has to bait, it has to get that Rock Blast, and then the Stone Edge for the kill in the one shield, alright? Now Sudo, remember what I said earlier about having like these softer counters where if you double block, it flips the match? This is one of those softer counters. If you block a Rock Blast from Alolan Graveler with your Sudowoodo and you can see death staring you in the face in the form of a Stone Edge, you can just block again and you flip that match. Alright, so it's a softer counter, it's a baitable match, it's not something that is very dependable, plus Sudowoodo has an exit strategy. So not really that great, not safe as a Sudowoodo counter, I would not depend on it. But it is a talking point, alright? It is something that, you know, higher level players are going to look into because they want to increase their Sudowoodo coverage somehow. Alright, without adding more grass, because having multiple grass on their team, that's just going to be a vulnerability. Now against the anti-grass over there, which is actually what Pseudo does, right? Pseudo kills all of those Pokemon. It can beat Snowy Castform, great. It can beat Vespiquen, beautiful. But Zweilous can beat a Alolan Graveler. Alright, so 2 out of the 3, not a bad deal, plus just maybe like a 0.5 in Sudowoodo coverage if you're good at baiting. I would say it's but this guy, Caracosta, it's kind of like a Sudowoodo clone, but not really. Caracosta kills Snowy Castform, Vespiquen, and Zweilous, which is nice. So it's kind of, it does that. Yeah, that's great. But it loses to Sudowoodo and Alolan Graveler. Plus, since it's rock water, it's double weak to the grass. So it's kind of like almost there, almost a Sudowoodo, but not as good. Also, by the way, just to help you understand the graphic more, I kind of arranged the matchups with the dominant Pokemon being on the left, right? So Alolan Graveler beats Caracosta for the alternate rock group. Over here, we have Snowy Castform beating Vespiquen and Zweilous, Vespiquen beating Zweilous, and that is kind of like, you know, the dominant Pokemon, the dominance pattern. Alright, you understand? Now this group right here, the anti-grass group, is a very diverse group that we're going to cover next, starting with Snowy Castform. Snowy Castform, obviously the most dominant out of the 3, and beats Venusaur. The alternate for Snowy Castform is Lapras, and that is not, you know, Lapras is not there because Lapras beating Venusaur is a lie. But Vange, the simulations say Lapras beats Venusaur. Yes, okay, but try to maximize it. Then Venusaur beats Lapras, and I feel that at this point, most people have a pretty good IV Venusaur for PvP. It's a very relevant Pokemon, right? So I feel like most people have a good IV Venusaur, and also with the way that PvP is, with it being quite janky, you throw one charge attack, you lose a fast attack here and there, right? Pulling off that back-to-back Surf is quite difficult, I would say, alright? Or is, you know, up to luck. So it's not something you can really depend on, but yes, Lapras can beat Venusaur. Would you like to bet on it? Let me answer that for you, for you, because I want you to, you know, get up there to win. No, do not depend on it. Lapras killing Venusaur, I think, is a lie. Alright? Plus, Venusaur can just double block and whatever. So I don't think it's worth it to depend on it. But I'm not saying that Lapras is not meta relevant. Actually, all of these alternate Pokemon here that you will see on the left side of the screen, they're all meta relevant for a different reason. It's just that they don't fit into this, you know, triangle basic meta simplified guide structure type thing. But let me give you the talking points, the selling points for Lapras. It's actually a Sudowoodo mini clone, or a Caracosta mini clone. What do you mean, Vange? What does that actually mean? It beats Snowy Castform because it double resists ice. It beats Vespiquen because it can tank a power gem. And it beats, no it doesn't, this is a baitable match right here. Having that ice shard does not make it an automatic Zweilous layer. And Zweilous, if it lands that Dark Pulse, will kill Lapras. Alright, so 2 out of 3, that makes it like a mini Sudowoodo. Now, the bad thing about Lapras is that it loses to Sudowoodo. It loses to Caracosta, which is also like a, you know, mini Sudowoodo. So it's kind of like at the very end over here when it comes to like dominance, right? And it also loses to Alolan Graveler, which didn't really have that much going on. But yes, it's just So we've covered ice. Let's move on to the bug types. Vespiquen is the best bug. It is the best bug. Beedrill cannot hold a candle to the queen. Alright? Vespiquen. Vespiquen is kind of like middle of the road when it comes to within the group. So it loses to Snowy Castform, but it beats Zweilous. Not that bad, but I would say that Vespiquen here is the cleanest grass type counter. Why? That is because one of the alternate grass types that we're gonna talk about is Breloom. And Breloom beats Zweilous and can beat Snowy Castform if it blocks twice. Okay, so it has like that exit strategy type situation with these Pokemon. With Vespiquen, it's a clear loss. Okay, so it is the cleanest anti-grass Pokemon. Now, the alternate bug type that I want you to look into is not Beedrill, it's actually Pinsir. Now, Pinsir is a very risky Pokemon to use as your lead Pokemon or whenever there's shields, but is one of the most devastating Pokemon when shields are down. I would say that it's kind of dumb to talk about matchups like straight simulation matchups against all of the other Pokemon when it comes to Pinsir, because the use of this Pokemon is really to clean up when your enemy is naked. You basically blow up most things with close combat, and if you can't get your opponent naked, you have a great bait move with X-Scissor. So we've covered the ice, we've covered the bug. Moving on to the dark types, unfortunately, I really don't see the hype in Zweilous and also the alternate Pokemon Umbreon. Umbreon is a great Pokemon for general Great League, right? It's just a chunky, chewy Pokemon. Maybe you can figure out some way to use it as a safe swap, but it's not looking that great in these simulations. Zweilous, I think, is the weakest out of all of these Pokemon here for anti-grass, alright? Castform is the most dominant anti-grass Pokemon within this group, right? Vespiquen, the safest, because if your opponent's grass type is Breloom, if your opponent's anti-Sudowoodo Pokemon is Breloom, then you still have that. Plus, Vespiquen can kill both Umbreon and Zweilous. What's the selling point for Zweilous then? What I was gonna say is that it kills Venusaur and Umbreon, but again, Vespiquen does that plus Zweilous. So, what is the selling point for Zweilous? It's got two heads. And then with Umbreon, it doesn't kill Venusaur, it doesn't kill Sudowoodo, it loses to Vespiquen and Zweilous. So like within this triangle, it only really kills Snowy Castform, and I'm like... At this point, you should understand the big problem. You need to increase your stick coverage, your Sudowoodo coverage. The thing is, increasing it by using softer counters means that you have not very dependable counters because people are gonna double block it to flip those matches. The problem with increasing grass types, which is the safe counter for Sudowoodo, the safe counter for the stick, is you're increasing your vulnerability to most other things. That is the problem right there. I want to say that having two grass types might be the way to go. Hence, understanding the grass types, understanding their side grade traits is very important. So we have Venusaur, very simple what it does. It kills this guy, alright, the stick, that's the important thing that it does. It also happens to kill the alternate rocks, which is Alolan Graveler and Caracosta. And on the side, it also kills Umbreon. Alternate grass types, you have one, the Razor Leafer for the cup, Gloom. And I actually agree with this for, the PVPoke ranking. This is the highest ranking Razor Leafer. Why? The poison typing makes you resist counter, and you want to maximize the killness, the killing power of your grass type on Sudowoodo. Other than that, you kill the other Sudowoodos, which is Alolan Graveler, Caracosta, and also, very important, right? This is a very important point right here, Lapras. Now, why is that an important thing? Actually, I want to emphasize that you want to maybe have a secondary grass type. So Venusaur is the one that I really recommend, right? But you want to have a secondary grass type that is not weak to ice. Why? Statistically, I would say that Lapras is the Pokemon that most of the battler community have. Alright, Snowy Castform is a great Pokemon for the cup, but not everybody lives in a place where it snows. Vespiquen is also another Pokemon that is great for the cup, great anti-grass choice, but I know that not a lot of people have a female combi that is, PvP IV worthy, right? Like worthy of your dust investment. Zweilous over here is the bottom of the barrel choice and is also very rare. So I think that people are gonna be forcing their Lapras to try their best to kill the grass type. Okay? So if you have a Jumpluff that's just adding vulnerability to, you know, your team. But if you have Gloom, that kind of solves the problem. You have one Pokemon that Lapras might be able to beat, Venusaur, yeah, but Gloom has that. Okay, so that's the thing. I am emphasizing that you should focus on trying to get this covered really well, at least 2 clean counters that beat Sudowoodo, while trying your best to reduce the vulnerabilities to these Pokemon. Lapras, Snowy Castform, Vespiquen, and Zweilous. Okay, that is going to help you make the best possible team. Alright, now the other choice that you have is Breloom, and Breloom I think is going to be really great for the Catacombs. Breloom I think is going to be the better choice for your secondary grass type if you do live in a place where there is Snowy Castform, because it can beat it if you double shield. It actually still loses to Lapras even if you double shield. Alright? But yeah, that's kind of like the side grade traits. Gloom, more Gloom for Lapras, more Breloom for Snowy Castform. You know where you live, you know your options. Okay? So Breloom, great Sudowoodo counter. Great. Also kills the other Sudowoodos, okay? And also has pretty good coverage over here with the anti-grass. It kills Snowy Castform, double shield. Alright? And also kills Zweilous, 1 shield. So now how do you build a team for the Catacombs Cup? I would say that you take this and use it as your threat list. If you don't want to type it out one by one, I have the, oh shoot, I punched my table. I have the threat list in the pinned comment down below. Make sure that your team has 2 clean counters per Pokemon on that list. Alright? But you want to start off with having 2 clean counters for Sudowoodo. Okay, choose maybe your grass types, and then maybe if you want to add, I don't know, some soft counter for Sudowoodo, that would be great. If you have 3 grass types, that might make your team imbalanced. I don't think it's impossible. You could maybe take like Venusaur, Gloom, and then maybe Jumpluff, and then use Jumpluff as one of your anti-grass types, because Jumpluff does kill Venusaur. Alright, you could maybe do that, but I feel like you're increasing the vulnerabilities to the elements, right? All the things that kill grass types. Grass type is very kind of like bad for the cup, but necessary for, you know, this guy. Or if you find some soft counter for Sudowoodo that you're very confident in playing, do that. Okay, Pinsir maybe, if you can land like a close combat, lights out, something like that. After you go counters for Sudowoodo, I would say that you definitely want this guy. I'm not saying it's impossible to win without him. I'm just saying he's really strong, alright? The stick, very strong, okay? And then within this group, they have, you know, Pokemon that beat other anti-grass as well. So, you know, if you have Snowy Castform, you don't have to worry about Vespiquen that much. You don't have to worry about Zweilous that much, because you're probably gonna have Sudowoodo. You already have 2 clean counters. But make sure that the grass is scared to come into play, okay? Because this guy is strong. If you're able to scare your opponent into not using the grass, maybe try to, you know, use a soft counter for Sudowoodo, he's gonna get double blocked and, you know, swept. But covering this group is also not as hard as it seems. It's not really. But the last thing that you might think of to add on your team is another Sudowoodo, if you still need coverage for anti-grass Pokemon, okay? So, you know, my choice, Caracosta, because because of how you say the name, and also that it covers all 3. So it's really like a Sudowoodo, like a mini Sudowoodo. And so I'm very confident that you now understand how the Catacombs works. You got the pros and the cons for all of these Pokemon, and also you kind of got a little bit, just a little bit of team building advice from me. This is probably gonna be the last Silph Arena video that I upload for a while, because the Catacombs is, I think, the last cup for the season, right? So we're gonna go off season, so no Silph Arena content from me. I'm just gonna continue sucking at GBL, and that's gonna be my content. But I'm actually considering not uploading any more Silph Arena content because of how it's just not working on YouTube. Okay, it's just not, it's not really growing my channel. I actually take a hit from posting this, but you know, I love the Silph. I love how it started everything. And that's actually very sad, because I'm one of the very few content creators who actually covers Silph Arena content. I think there's only 2 of us now. It's just me and PVP Steve, right? Shout out to the man, okay? It's good that he's kind of like taken over. But yeah, it's it's very sad. Now I have a deal for you. All right, I have a deal for you, and I'm gonna. It's kind of like a test as well. All right, it's kind of like me assessing how much people really want this. Okay, if you can get this video to 500 likes, 500 guys. All right, I will cover at least the first cup for season 3. At least the first cup. And then on that video, I will ask you again to try to hit like 500 likes. Do you think that's doable? I think there's at least 500 people who care about Silph, right? At least. Okay? So, I don't know. This is kind of like my way of assessing, do people really want to see this? Is this valuable content? You know, I feel like me sucking at Go Battle League is also pretty pretty entertaining. And also, one of these days I'm gonna get good, alright? So, you know, you never know. But right now, the way to grow my YouTube channel is really to just post Go Battle League every freaking day, even if it's not even a good set, right? You know, that's the kind of like, that's the formula, alright? But if you want to see this, if you're passionate about this, if you care about this, if you don't want to see this go on my channel, then help me hit 500 likes. Is that a good deal? I feel like that's a pretty good deal, alright? You know what? I'm gonna make it even better. If you help me hit 500 likes on this video, I'll post a Catacombs team building guide. Alright, I'll try to help you figure out, you know, some balanced teams. I'll talk about like the pros and the cons of certain teams. Maybe I'll cover like a tournament. I'll take their teams, analyze it for you, help you improve it so that, I don't know, you get better teams. Which is usually what I do for my Patreons, alright? But I don't want to put a price tag on this because this is Silph. This is basically like what started it all. Alright, I don't want to be like, yeah, if you care about Silph, go pay me on, you know, I don't want to be like that, alright? So a like is free. A like is just gonna show that you care. Alright, that's it. 500, you get another Catacombs team building guide plus for season 3, the first, the meta simplified guide for the first cup plus a team building guide for that. That's a good deal, right? That's like what, 3 more videos. Okay, so that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Remember to leave a like. Check out my Patreon. It's kind of like the only thing making Silph Arena content worth it, because the people who you know, support me on Patreon, they love the Silph stuff. All right, so yeah, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.